Mr. Perry, if it's not gonna work with Danny and Preston, can we just go ahead and cut that out? What's up, fam? It's your girl Q back at Blessed to Be a Blessing, where we are blessed to be a blessing. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel tonight. I just wanted to jump in and give you guys a quick recap of Tyler Perry's Sistas, season 4, episode 6, entitled Hard to Get. But before we get started, hello to my blessed ones. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate you greatly. For those of you who do view my videos and who have not subscribed yet, I have no idea what you're waiting on. I mean, you keep coming back, so go ahead and subscribe. And then while you're at it, make sure you hit that like button, and everyone else, if you can, please just drop some comments below. Let's get a conversation going about this show, because I know y'all watch it. Okay. All right, jumping right in. So, Hard to Get, I'm thinking, like, let's see, Danny's playing Hard to Get. Andy's playing Hard to Get. I would say that's probably about it for this episode. So, we'll go ahead and get started with Danny. So, Danny was at work, and El Fuego, you know, he's always traveling and stripping and stuff. So, he shows up at the airport, and so does the little short guy, who turns out he's actually left off telling you that this guy was like a sex trafficker. And so Danny was trying to catch him. She hit him in the head with a shoe. Turns out he's actually an undercover police officer. All right. And the fool showed up at her house. Child. Okay. That was a couple episodes ago. But anyway, so he was in the airport as well. So him and El Fuego both sitting up like, she be turning them down, because El Fuego was trying to hook back up, and she was like, nah, I'm good. Like, So she ended up actually giving in to the little police officer guy and agreed to go on a date. While she was at work, Preston called her. Now, he had just left the shop, y'all. He done took that same woman that he met at the gas station and took her back to Karen's shop. Well, what he wanted Karen to do was to call Danny again, but Karen didn't do it. So they talked about it, and Karen's like, I'm not going to do that. So anyway, he ended up calling Danny after the fact and was like, Danny, I went up there because I just wanted Karen to call you and tell you because I wanted to see you, or all of this mess, right? And so she was like, really? But she did admit to Karen that seeing him did something to her, like that messed her up, right? So she's all in her feelings. Clearly, she has feelings for Preston. I mean, I wish she would just stop playing. So anyway, he asked if he could see her. She told him that she had a date. He was like, oh, you do? Like, he wanted her to, I guess, cancel her date. Now, he done been on 2 dates with this chick and paying for her to get her hair did. Okay. So anyway, Danny's like, no. So he asked if he could come over before she goes on the date. And so he did. And they talked. Same old thing. I mean, like, these... Danny and Preston is just like, Mr. Perry, if it's not gonna work with Danny and Preston, can we just go ahead and cut that out? I mean, I want Trinity to keep his job and everything, but yeah, we gonna have to come up with something better. This storyline is dead. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. I mean, are they a favorite couple for you? Are they even a couple? So anyway, he's professing his love, tells her that he loves her, and he just wants to know why things couldn't go so easy with him and Danny like it did with him and the other chick. Danny's like, because she's not me, I'm not her, blah, blah, blah. All right, so boom, he leaves. Now, as far as who else is playing Hard to Get, I said Andy. Well, Gary's been, you know, he bought her a Rolls Royce. He bought her all these handbags and designer clothes and shoes, all this stuff. He's done all this stuff. And so she's like dissing him. She don't want to be bothered, okay? So he calls her up. He like, you know, you like when that police officer stopped you with a... So he had, you know, he knew she would get in the car and drive it, and he set up some fake police officers to stop her and pull over, and they sing this stupid song about He Wants You Back. She fell for it. Y'all know she like all that little silly stuff. Okay. So anyway, he was asking her about that, and she was like, yeah, I did like it. I thought it was cute, whatever. So she was like, all right, I gotta go. You know, I hope I don't have to change my number or whatever. She's really trying to resist, but she goes into her apartment. The whole apartment is cleared out, like no furniture, no anything. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out next week, but I think Gary ended up buying the whole penthouse floor. We gonna find out though, okay? So boom, moving on to Karen. So it picked up where it left off last week with Erin rubbing her feet in the like her little break room at the shop or whatever. She just told him that she was pregnant, child. She sure did. So Aaron was like, wow. He was like, okay, okay. And she's like, can you just stop saying okay, say something else? And he was like, well, I'm just trying to like count the months. Like Aaron, like, I'm trying to see if this is my baby. Okay. She was like, well, it's not your baby. He was like, how do you know? She was like, it's not your baby. He was like, are you saying that because you wanted to be Zach's? But, you know, how do you know? She's like, it's not your baby. He said, well, how do you know that for sure when you don't even know how far along you are? Because she still hadn't been to the doctor or anything, right? So she wants it to be Zach's. I know she does. Y'all know she does. Aaron probably wants it to be his, but he told her, regardless of that, you know, because she's like, I just wanted to let you know so you can go ahead and start pursuing me. He was like, you really think that that's going to make me stop pursuing you? Like, I love you, girl. Okay. And if the baby ain't mine, then I'm going to love the baby like it is mine. She's like, stop telling me stuff that I want to hear. So that's because she don't want the baby to be Aaron's baby. She wants Zach. And she told him, well, Zach moved on. He was like, but have you though? Okay. Like, and she hasn't. So anyway, speaking of Zach, he and Fatima are having a grand old ball. But check it, Gary showed up at his condo or his townhouse to talk about the stocks and stuff because he called Gary. They met last week at the little nighttime basketball game. And so he found out Gary owns like a hedge fund. So he called him. They talked about it. You know, Zach didn't tell him exactly what he did to get the money, but he talked about it because now he needs another tip. He need to know what to do with the money next, right? Last we heard, he was at 1.7 million. Well, Gary was like, I'm gonna hook you up with this guy who works for me, and he'll come by, you know, and he'll help you out. So Gary brings the guy over to Zach's house, and Zach and the guy, they end up talking or whatever. Turns out the guy does like building up houses and stuff like that too. So him and Zach ended up helping Zach like hang up drywall and stuff like that in Zach's new place. So Zach thinking like, you know, he got a new friend or whatever. And he asked the guy about the stock, and so the guy was like, well, they're about to do a merger, it's about to double up and all of this. And he was like, well, what do I need to do now? He was like, well, basically right now your 1.7 is now at about 2.7 million. So Zach is like, yeah, I know. He was like, go ahead and take out $1 million and then invest the 1.7 again, reinvest that. So Zach's like, okay. So basically the guy is now trying to get Zach to move all of his funds to him and Gary's hedge fund. Now y'all know Gary a crook. I don't care what they say. He is a crook. And so Zach like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what y'all want me to do. Because he was like, where do you have your money? Do you mind me asking? Zach like, no, I don't want to tell you, but it's at such and such bank. And he was like, but the guy was right, though. He was like, you might want to move that to a brokerage firm, which is true. That kind of money, like, quit being stupid. So anyway, I don't know if Zach's going to do it or not. I believe it's getting ready to be some dirt and some shade. He probably going to end up losing that money, fooling with Gary, thieving behind while he out here buying $500,000 cars and $5,000 bags and stuff like that. Honey, that ain't all legal money. So anyway, Fatima shows up. You know, they had switched phones last week by accident or whatever. And then he ended up giving her his code. She gave him a fake code. So he looking at her like, oh, you gonna give me a fake code, right? So anyway, he was like, well, that's why I got 2 phones. So anyway, they just still happy and lovey-dovey and all of that. So kudos to Zach and Fatima. Now, back to Karen. She called Andy and was like, I want to invite all the girls to my house. I got something to tell y'all. So she's probably preparing to tell them that she's pregnant. But she says, make sure that you invite Fatima. So Andy's like, do what? And she's like, I'm not going to do that. So Karen was like, really? No, bring her. So Andy never did call Fatima. And I hope she don't, because Fatima probably ain't going to go to that woman's house. Fatima already knows she pregnant, okay? She just ain't said nothing to Andy because that's her and Zach's business of how they're going to deal with that and work around that or whatever. So, so anyway, that's that. They didn't even show Sabrina and Calvin tonight, but they did show Maurice and Calvin at the house or whatever, and Calvin's like, did she tell you? Because last week, you remember, Sabrina and Calvin went out to dinner. Some guy tried to holler at her. He assumed that Calvin was gay, so Calvin got all puffed up and hit the man. Child, turned out the man owned the restaurant or whatever, and he was really still trying to holler at Sabrina, and he really thought that Calvin was gay. So anyway, Calvin got mad at her because he said she didn't defend him. Child, you supposed to be the man defending the woman. Why she gotta defend you? And because somebody else think you gay, which all this time she still ain't quite sure if you are or not, and you gonna get mad at her. Okay? Sick of them too. So anyway, he low-key told Maurice just a little bit of what was going on, because Maurice was trying to get it out of him, knowing that he hadn't heard anything from Sabrina, but he pretended like Sabrina had told him something. So Calvin didn't let on and give him any of the tea or whatever. So anyway, that was pretty much tonight's recap. It wasn't a big deal tonight. It wasn't all exciting or anything like that. It's already at episode 6, so I don't know. We'll see how everything plays out. But make sure y'all go ahead and then hit that like button, drop a comment below. Let's talk about it. Let me know. Are you still feeling the show? I'm feeling a little about it. Like, are you still, tell me how you feel about it. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. All right. Thanks again for joining me here at Blessed to Be a Blessing. Your girl Q signing out, and have a good night.